And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Solar Expanse, or NASA Fission all the way run. In the last one, we finally got access to the Pelican, and don't know if it's intentional, but right now the Pelican isn't telling us how much fuel it uses. So we're going to do a little bit of a manual test here. Right now, I have 2 kilotons of fuel on Mars. We're going to do a quick save, so we can just come back to this. So this is H test. Test how much the hydrogen changes. So I have 2 kilotons of fuel. The Pelican implies that its launch cost is 3 kilotons of fuel. We're going to see how much fuel it actually uses. Not Earth. Mars. To Mars orbit. This is just going to be the Pelican. We're going to load up as much metal as I can load on the thing. On the Pelican. And again, we know that there's 2K there. So it's only so launching a full load ate about 920 tons of hydrogen. So I could do 2. So what? 920 tons. I could probably do that every 900 days or so with Mars. Okay, we're gonna load the test save. Because I didn't need that much metal in Mars orbit. Let's be fair, did not need that much metal in Mars orbit. We're going to do the same sort of test on Earth. Because I want to have an idea of how much it also costs to launch over Earth. Because it's not giving me a predictor. That makes it a little bit hard to prepare. Not sure why it's not going to be a predictor. It would if it was gas. It might be because the UI is set up for gas or for fuel, and I'm using a non-fuel based launch. That's probably what's going on there. So we got a Pelican here. I can ship silicon as the test load, so we'll do the same sort of launch, but this is going to be the silicon being launched. Earth to Earth orbit. In theory, I should be able to load 1.2. So add resources, silicon, that number. On the Pelican. No complaints, although this is Earth, so I could technically be buying the material. So it might tell me I have to buy it. And we got 1.37 kilotons. I would have to buy it. Okay, so it's more than we have at the moment. So I can't really complete the test because I would want to know exactly how much it's taking for a full load. And apparently there's a way to buy hydrogen from the void because the world government is not selling it because the world government doesn't have it. Yeah, the world government is not selling hydrogen because it doesn't have it. I could sell it hydrogen. I could sell it nitrogen, to be fair. I could even sell it auction. I might be tempted to sell it auction, actually. But yeah. So that's what the testing's going to add. We're going to continue doing the run. I'm just going to have to be a little cautious about how much hydrogen we're using. That is an argument that Earth probably wants more hydrogen production. Mars, it depends upon what I'm lifting. Same sort of concept as the moon. So we got stuff on the way out to Mars. It's going to fly by, pick up some alloys, drop that off at Phobos, probably. so we can get launch facilities at Phobos. And then I think probably have it do the return flight to Earth. Well, first to Mars to pick up some more alloys, then to Earth, pick up stuff for the moon, go to the moon. I think that's the cycle we're going to do. We've got Promethei at Earth. I've got stuff I don't necessarily want shipped to... Well, some of the carbon wants to go to the moon. We've got metal. We got rare metal. They're the rare metal. And the radioisotopes for demos. Phobos and demos, yes. So Earth orbit. I suppose this would actually be going to Mars. So Mars orbit first, because it's going to pick up alloys on the way. Effectively to demos. Add metal 320. Add 70 rare metal. Add radioisotopes 32. And then we pick up the 200 alloy in Mars orbit, and that will be enough to get the launch facility and the launch vehicle. This Prometheus, I am actually tempted to leave in the Mars system. So I have someone that I can bounce back and forth between Phobos, Mars, and Demos using to sort of transit that stuff around. Because most of what I need to build out Phobos and Demos for carbon to sort of fuel the carbon for the situation, hydrogen to fuel the fleet, and improve Mars is in the system. It's all there. Fancier things that we haven't actually researched yet will need other stuff, but the basic stuff, it's all in the system. So we're taking that to Mars. I don't need to bring any carbon or anything along. Because we can actually, once we get the launch facilities at Phobos, we got carbon in the system. Optimal. Do I really want to wait that long? I don't want to wait that long. Not that long. Oops. Only have you like burn like 200. That gets you leaving. That actually gets you leaving. Yeah, I'm willing to pay 200. It's a little bit more expensive than it needs to be, but off you go. And then I have another one to send if I want to send stuff places. I suppose right now I have carbon in orbit for Luna. So let's actually ship the carbon we have in orbit for Luna. So, not Mars this time. This is Earth orbit. To Luna. The Prometheus can't actually land, so this will be fine. Add all the carbon up here is for Luna at this point. And this is Luna, so this is real cheap. 53 fuel for the outbound, and yep, that'll give us enough fuel to get back. Prometheus launches, and it arrives, and Theory left the fuel in orbit. So the Prometheus has the fuel for the return. Don't take the hydrogen, you need it for the trip. Here we go. And I can take the minimum, which is actually only 4, so we can leave a little bit in orbit. That'll work out. Okay, so I have a 4th ship I can do stuff with. I suppose I could start taking trips out to Lutetia. Yeah, probably take trips out to Lutetia to start moving on the asteroid supply chain. How much hydrogen do I have in orbit? Probably enough for the Prometheus to get out to Lutetia and back. Okay. Lutetia's inner belt? Or is it... Yeah, Lutetia's inner belt. We're going to go via optimal. I am going to take all the hydrogen along. We got enough in Earth orbit that that's not going to deplete Earth orbit completely. But notably, this will leave a lot at Lutetia, so hopefully if I take a whole load of rare earth, there's actually hopefully be some left over. But we should have enough to get back at least mostly full of rare earth. Not the whole way full of rare earth. Off we go. So I've got all 4 ships either scheduled for mission or on a mission. Hephaestus is coming up. 2 months. That's actually... We got from nuclear launch vehicles to Hephaestus faster than I was expecting. But I suppose that's good. So Hephaestus is done. In the grand scheme of things, the next big thing I want is orbital gas extractors. So we can start gathering hydrogen en masse from... Oh, start having the gas from the gas giants. Also allows us access to the rotating station and the city station. Does the orbital gas extractor... Doesn't say it needs any workforce. Well, I think I still will try to do something like put a station in Earth orbit so we can store people in Earth orbit for when we need them. Would be probably the way to go about that. Even though we don't need any for the gas extractors. The looks of it. Having capacity to put 1,000 people in Earth orbit is not a bad plan. Because that would reduce the food upkeep of them while they're in orbit waiting for transit. And then here. So we're going rotating hab, which technically... Well, actually, I suppose if we're starting to go big in places, we might need in places. So basically going all the way up here for this. Because the plan is I want to get gases off the gas extractor. And I suppose eventually terraforming Venus will need this as well. And then we'll go for the radioactives so that I can have radioactives elsewhere that I don't have to pay for to build ships. Now, back in Earth, did I loot by accident my Hephaestus load? No, it looked like it's there. Yeah, so I have enough to get 4 Hephaestus going. These are everything that Prometheus does, but better. Higher exhaust velocity, higher, well, no higher propellant, it's the same propellant capacity, but higher cargo capacity. So either I can run less stuff, more fuel efficiently, or I can carry more stuff to use the fuel efficiency to just carry it with the same sort of fuel. So yeah, I want Hephaestus. So we're 2 years out into the future building Hephaestus. So this is probably Earth orbit to Mars. Okay, so our Mars arrival has happened. So you want to go to Phobos. Mars orbit to Phobos. I suppose technically... I actually want you to go Phobos orbit. I'll have to manually drop this stuff, but that's fine. Add resources. Not the hydrogen. Metal. Your 320 things of metal. Rare metals. Your 90 things of rare metal. Alloy. 200. And it was just the 3 thing. No, radioisotopes. 32. So, almost full. And then you only need 9 to get there, and you're gonna need like 9 back. So we want you to go with enough fuel that you still have like 9 in the tank for the return trip. There you go. Close enough. And then that should be fairly quick. Okay, so there's the launch beginning. And there's the launch arrival. Phobos orbit. So the Prometheus alone, well, pretty much alone. Prometheus wants to return to Mars orbit. And we can leave the fuel line. So that's planned. And then you want to drop all this stuff. Planet. Phobos to Phobos, or Phobos orbit to Phobos. Metal, not the hydrogen. Rare metals, not the hydrogen. Alloys, 200. And not the hydrogen, missiles. Dropping. So 3 days they'll drop. They've dropped. Construction time. So, I need a... The vehicle assembly bay requires crew. I'm gonna have to bring some crew to Phobos. Which means I'm gonna have to bring some food to Phobos. It's not too burdensome. Or bring some water. Or food and water is probably the best way to do it. I can definitely do that. It's not ruinous. I've got the okay, so hydroponics farm, vehicle assembly bay, research laboratory. No, not the research lab. That's why it's not letting me build it. Yeah, I did. Launch bay into launch vehicle, which is the Pelican, which we have the stuff for the Pelican. Yeah. Okay. I'm still gonna need to bring people in to work those. Can I build a hab here? Gravity's too low. I'm building an outpost, and the outpost... not quite gonna have enough. If I do the research laboratory, they're close enough, because we'll be 30 housing. So I'm gonna bring 30 people up here. Okay. Back to Mars. And I suppose on Mars, we're gonna do something we haven't done in a while, which is we haven't done on Mars yet. It's crew compartment building type. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna send 30 people to Demos. I'll build that reasonably quickly. And again, that should be reasonably light, so we've already worked out we should be able to afford to launch that with the Pelican. Oh, I even have the electronics. I'm warming up to sending the stuff I need for the research laboratory. It's another 100 alloy, but I can do that. It's another 100 rare. I can still do that. 10 electronics, 10 alloy. Okay. Oh, and this is going to be quick enough flight. I don't have a problem doing Prometheus to Phobos. And we'll do Phobos. Worst case scenario, actually don't need fuel in orbit. Well, no, we have fuel in orbit, so yeah, this works. This just works. Prometheus in Mars orbit. We're going to add resources and modules on the surface. I don't need the probe, but we want garments. Does Phobos have... Phobos has its own radioisotope generator. Okay, so I'm not worried about... No, Phobos doesn't have its own radioisotope generator. So I will need some power. Need to bring some power along with me. Can I nick the radioisotope generator and not bring the base offline? I can. I can borrow one of the radioisotope generators. Okay. I could actually bring the mobile hab as well, but that's not what we're going to do. So got our 60 crew, or got our 30 crew. We got a radioisotope generator. Actually don't need anything. Oh, I suppose I can bring the mine, but we don't need that. Add resources on the surface. I need 100. I'm doing this the wrong way around. I should have done the alloys first. Select alloys 100. Add resource electronics. We only need 10. Add resource glass. I need 10. I don't have rare metals. We'll be 10 rare metals short. Although, if that's all that's missing, I can have that done in a drive-by. By something else later. Yeah, the only thing I'm missing is the rares. Could even have the one coming back from Lutetia do that. Yeah, we'll think about that. Okay, we'll bring everything else we need because we can just have it sitting there waiting for the opportunity, which is the 10 rares showing up. 30 crew, radioisotope generator alloys, Jonas glass, so I'd just be short the 10 rares. Oh! Food and water. Food and water. Bring 100 food. Bring 200 water. We're not bringing very much crew, so they need a lot of food, a lot of water. Although if I wanted to... No. We bring 200 water. It's about to go like, I can bring more water. Don't need to bring more. Yeah, we need 7 hydrogen for the trip. Now this breakdown is telling me how much the launch cost is. It's going to cost me 140 hydrogen. I can work with that. Oops, that's a lot faster. It's probably... Oh no, it's not there yet. There we go. So, Phobos as people. And the food is gonna last 16 years. So we're not worried about them starving anytime soon. The food will last. And then you can get back to Mars orbit. You're not bringing anything with you, so that launches. Actually, if I want to do this correctly, you need to be that orbit. And yeah, you need 1 ton of fuel to get back to Mars. Okay, and then I want you to bring 200 alloys from Mars orbit to Earth orbit, I suppose. because this is for the moon actually, but we're picking up other stuff for the moon on the way. The mole is June. Where do I spend some fuel to go faster? I don't have a lot of fuel in orbit, so we're gonna minimize the fuel. We're gonna accept this. We're not in a rush. Not in a lot of rush to get launch capacity of Luna. Oh, I suppose once I have that launch capacity, I don't want. And Luna, for example, has a lot. I don't need this fuel anymore. This fuel isn't useful because I'm gonna get once I get the Pelicans going. I don't need it anymore. Okay. It's a little early, but I'm deciding the Stratos is obsolete. Goodbye, Stratos. And then, without the Stratos, and without the Eagle, I don't need the fuel refineries anymore. The fuel refineries are obsolete. And I moved the mobile refinery to Mars? I have a mobile refinery somewhere. So this fuel refinery, again, obsolete. Don't need it. Never needed it. Never used the fuel. Never gonna use the fuel. I think I have a mobile refinery somewhere. Where did I put it? So it's not on Earth. If we advance time a little bit, we should see there's no more fuel being produced on the moon. Or am I wrong and I have the mobile refinery up here? Oh, there's the mobile refinery. Like, I know I have one. Disassemble that. Here we go. So, no more fuel being produced on Earth, no more fuel being produced on Mars, or on the moon, or Mars, or Phobos, or Deimos. And then I suppose at this point, this just means this I can sell the fuel. I don't need fuel anymore. We're past fuel. We're in the fission age. Everything runs on fission. Before I sell it, is there anything I can do production-wise? Can I like burn the fuel for like stuff in terraforming? Carbon release, carbon power plant. No, it's making CO2. I think there's a fuel-based power plant. I'm not sure if I start with it. Might also be one that the world government starts with, and I don't. Yeah, so I don't start with it. The Earth government has it. Carbon. No, that doesn't, that consumes, doesn't produce. Thought they had a fuel-consuming power plant. I guess maybe there isn't one. Okay. So, in which case, it's probably to sell them the fuel. They're going fuel through 0.96. What are really using that's costing fuel. Just because in theory they're making fuel. That doesn't cost fuel. That doesn't cost fuel. That doesn't cost fuel. That doesn't cost fuel. Using fuel for something, I'm trying to figure out if I need it. Power plant. So they have a power plant that consumes 40 tons of fuel per day. Do I get access to that power plant, or is that just a world government thing? That might just be a world government thing. Wind power, solar array, geothermal. Yeah, I think that's just a world government thing. So they've got to use for fuel, and I don't. So let's... I don't think I need this fuel. Let's actually sell fuel to Earth at this point. Sell what we've got left. 1.26 million, returning our fuel to Earth that we've got on Earth. We let some time pass. We're waiting for ships to build, or missions to complete. Is that one of our ships arriving? Prometheus just arrived. Okay, so I now have what I needed for demo. Demos is next, yes. Demos. We need Demos orbit as well. We'll drop the stuff off and then we'll come back for humans because we need more humans. Same sort of logic going on. I won't be able to do the research lab right away, but we can get everything but the rares there. And there should already be hydrogen orbit, so we can fly out to Demos. Yeah, there is hydrogen orbit. Fly out to Demos, and we can fly back in the existing fuel. And then Mars has the alloys. It's going to be a little tight for the research lab. Research lab, I think it's 100, yeah. 100 100 circuits, electronics, and 100, 10 electronics, 10 glass. We've got that. So Mars can basically do all that, except for the rares, which you can't mine in situ. I want to had 5 rares on Mars. We need 10, so not enough. Either way. And I suppose that means Mars. Oh, I got it from disassembling something. That's where it came from. The fuel refinery. Disassembling the fuel refinery gave it to me. Okay, so I'm gonna need 6 of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another. No, we're gonna nick another radioisotope generator. Because I've got the power for it. That's not a problem. Okay. Okay. I think I've already got a mobile hab on Demos. Yeah, the mobile hab's there, the miner's there. I just need the stuff for the research lab. We're going to send that along as well. The radioisotope generator, so that's all fine. Yeah. And away it goes. Actually, I can get you going back to Mars. Doesn't matter what I send you Mars orbit, but not carrying anything. Minimum fuel. Demos orbit, orbital payload container, metal. Alloy. Rare metal. missiles, 32. Oh, I suppose I'm gonna have to ship some metal in for demos. Unlike Phobos, which had local metal that we've been slowly slurping on with the mining module, there is not enough metal. There's no metal in demos, so I will have to ship some in to build what I want. Although what I'll do is I kind of do it out of order, because I can borrow it. Well, no, because I need the food as well, so it'll have to come in on the ship. And I suppose we have increased food upkeep here because I don't have the outpost built. Get the outpost in queue. Put you after the farm, but before the vehicle assembly. We brought enough food along that we've got food for 14, 15 years, so. Some time pass. Okay, stuff has landed, so I can start building. And it's the hydroponics into the vehicle assembly bay. Is the order I want to build. When the food arrives, I'm going to need to bring another 150 tons of metal along. Okay, so the launch from here is going to be a little bit more complicated. That's fine, we can work with that. Hephaestus is done. We can get some nice, more efficient launches going, I suppose. Okay, so you are going to demos. Well, actually, technically you're going to Mars orbit first. No, I could do a launch direct straight to demos. Okay. That's fine. Mars to demos. Which means they're gonna have a launch vehicle, but we got the Pelican, so that's fine. Prometheus. Yes, you're the one taking the resources along. Add 3 modules. And a radio isotope generator. So those are the modules I'm bringing. People. And extra power. Well, I say extra power. People and power, not necessarily extra on the power. And then I'm building the research lab. Or I want to bring the stuff to build the research lab if I can. And we need enough for that farm. So 150 metal. Don't have 10 rares. We're going to skip the rares. We're going to bring 10 glass. Have stuff for 10 electronics. And we probably want to bring 100 food, so they don't starve in situ. I'm gonna take some of my precious carbon here and bring it along with us. This is gonna put Mars on a tighter timer, because I'm taking a third of Mars' timer before Mars runs out of out of carbon. This way we can get carbon, or get the farm working on Mars, and on Mars on demos. And I suppose it's not the end of the world. I do have we'll have a while on the food when that hits the end there. Okay. Load on the Pelican. Oh, and this time it shows... Oh, this is the ship's one. So the ship needs basically nothing. And then here we can see the math. 129 for the launch cost. That's manageable. And if we let some time pass, that will complete... And I might even get this to complete so we can see how long this is going to run off of 200 tons of 200 tons of water. You use less carbon than you do water farms, so that's why we shipped more water than we did carbon. And I suppose this this Prometheus isn't really going anywhere. I'm going to leave this in the system, just for bouncing back and forth between these three places as we get launch capacity going. Okay, is that Demos? And that was a burn straight to Demos, so everything's there. Outpost. And that really wants to go before the vehicle building assembly because housing the people, so if I screwed up the timing, everything still lives. And it's time until we see how much that's going to cost us. What? That can't be right. There we go. Saying 9.99 days, I'm like, oh no, that's not gonna be good. That's only 10 days. We're gonna starve. 16 is more manageable. 16 years is more manageable. Farm is online. The water will last 5.5 years. And for those 5.5 years, the food will not run out. That's what we want to see. Because that'll be enough time, hopefully, to get the vehicle assembly bay running. And if the vehicle assembly bay is running, then I have launch capacity. Because we left enough stuff there to build the launch capacity. In the meantime, Prometheus to Mars. Taking nothing with you, and yeah, minimum hydrogen, just get back to Mars. Now, back at Earth. Oh, do we have some launch capacity back at Earth? Or have some capacity to take stuff places. I have an Hephaestus, which can carry 1.5 kilotons of stuff with 1 kiloton of fuel capacity. Do I have something out on the way out to Letitia? I do. I do want to assume that has enough hydrogen for the trip. Because I'm thinking I want to take you out to Letitia as well. Oh, you're the one out to Letitia. That is not Letitia. Letitia's... Where is Letitia? There's Letitia. Earth to Letitia, and actually Earth orbit to Letitia. Only one of you, because we only got the fuel, or we only got one of you built. We don't need a launch vehicle, because we're in... Did I not set it to Earth orbit? I need to launch. Nope. You're fine. Shouldn't need a launch vehicle. Optimal window is February. And it's going to take 15 tons to get there. I think we shipped out more hydrogen there. On the previous ship. Question here is, do I take anything else out to Letitia? I've only got 35 tons. So worst case scenario, I won't get stuck there if I don't take any along with me. She's even making... Although it's probably not making enough water. The hydrogen splitting infrastructure requires crew. Do I bring crew? I make some crew and send some crew to Letitia. I'd want to bring carbon, but I could bring carbon. That's not too hard either. Bring like 20 crew. Not necessarily do any research there, although I could bring stuff to research as well. But mainly we were trying to bring this home, right? So 5 crew on the hydroponic farm, 10 on the electrolysis plant. And then I technically have you for another 5. Okay, so yeah, we got enough to fill the orbital hab up at least. So if I bring 20 crew, we got the metal in situ. In fact, because I know I have the metal in situ, let's actually get the things building. So you can build. Oh, because this needs to be close. Put that away for that, because I think we are gonna send 20 people, which means I need to build stuff for 20 people to be carried. Hydroponics farm into electrolysis plant. And then that will make hydrogen so that the ships leaving here don't have to bring any. They'll probably want to bring carbon coming in to feed the crew work at the mine. But okay. Here on Earth, build the 20 people crew compartment. That'll build relatively quickly. Because it's building in parallel. Okay. This time, actually, this is Earth to straight to Lutetia. We are using the Hephaestus in orbit. We are adding modules, in this case crew compartments. That'll bring 20 people to work in the mobile hab. We'll have you bring along... Let's keep it reasonably simple. And go like 200 carbon and 100 food. And everything else is there. Everything else is there. So that's all you need to go out there and in theory, once the hydrogen's built, you fly back under what you've got there. Yeah, okay. Gotta ride the Pelican up. We're going out the optimal trip. Or do we want to go less fuel but fastest? Say a 200 but fastest. Yeah, that works. That works. I can work with that. Okay, so you're building up, you're building up. I need someone to bring rares to Mars, but I can have that actually be the first one going out to Lutetia. So we've got multiple going out to Lutetia right now. Scheduled mission, Mars to Earth is actually scheduled. It hasn't launched yet. We got ongoing missions, 2 to Lutetia, 1 to Paris. We're still waiting for the Paris one to arrive. Well, that one is soon. Outpost info was done. Paris has arrived. In the meantime, you have arrived, so first thing is outpost, so people can't starve. They probably have enough food that we're not worried about them starving, but next is hydroponics. Into the research lab. Because I think the combo there. Yeah. And then the Prometheus can return home. Now that I know that I'm going to have hydrogen at Lutetia, I might actually want you to go straight to Lutetia. Paris to Lutetia. With the Prometheus. Don't carry anything with you. Optimal transit. We'll leave the fuel here in case we need to do an evacuation later. And yeah, we should have hydrogen at Lutetia at some point, so you can be there. $8.5 years. It should get the farm going within 8.5 years. And I got the achievement for the Iliad. Colonize a Jupiter Trojan. Or Greek, I think it was. Was where that went off. Okay, so the outpost is done, so that should have lowered the food consumption rate. It did. Hydroponics farm done on Demos. And that's 10 years of 13 years of carbon, current rate. Not mining water as fast here, apparently. So we're not actually mining enough water, but that's kicked the water up to... Or the water is still up to 10 years, so that's fine. Should we just finish? Another Hephaestus is done. I'm not sure what I want that Hephaestus to do right now. I'm thinking that probably wants to be one of my long-distance haulers, so that probably wants to be heading out to another Trojan or another Greek. For more research rate. Still have 1,000 days to go in Spin Grav. And then we got in-orbit production. In-orbit production right now is just the stations, I suppose. Unless there's a... It might allow me to build other things in orbit, I suppose. Because right now we don't have anything that actually requires having crew in orbit. Or maybe that's planned. Maybe it's planned to have things that require crew in orbit that just didn't yet. In fact, that's probably what it is. Yeah, so do I want to try to put together a group and transit out to a Greek or a Trojan? For more research rate. That's definitely the next place to go. Hephaestus. Because it'll be far more efficient than that one that went out to Paris. Doing what it just did. I suppose, yeah. So let's go ahead. Actually, no, I will hold off on that. I will hold off on that for a reason. That's going to be reasonably time-consuming. And we're getting close to the end of the episode here. We're going to let some time pass. We're going to try to finish up some of the missions that we've got ongoing. That's what I'm going to do. But don't forget about them. First ship arrived at Lutetia. So that was the old Prometheus. Arriving with fuel in tow. With the hopes that it can bring rare earth metals directly to Earth. Oh, to be fair, it also says delivered to Earth. It doesn't say where from. Yeah, it doesn't say where from. So I could probably do a stopover in the Mars system on the way down. I'm going to do a... Well, actually, let's see. Can I... What's the window to Mars? Am I in the window to Mars? 2 years... February 2056. Okay, so it's 2 years to Mars. Before we even leave for Mars. Whereas we'd arrive at Earth before we even leave. So, yeah. Go to Earth. We're basically in the proverbial window then for Earth, is what that's telling me. In that window. Anyway, if I'm in that window, we might as well just go straight to Earth, and I can just drop it on Earth. There'll be no question about that. Add resources. We're not. It's not the rare metals, or it's not the hydrogen you want to be taking back. It is the rare metals. 800 rare metals. Optimal transit. Minimum fuel. There you go. And then yeah, I think we'll slowly move the Prometheuses out. I think we're going to try to have one be sort of the in-system taxi. They're not as fuel efficient as the Hephaestus, so we don't want them to be the long truck haulers anymore. We want to sort of devolve them into Butson from Earth to the Moon, or Mars to demos, stuff that just doesn't require a lot of tonnage. And Paris is now food positive, and yeah, it makes its own carbon warp, so we don't have to worry about starving to death anytime soon. The electrolysis plant is done at Lutetia. So the moment the crew arrives, the crew just arrived. I'm like, the moment the crew arrives, the crew also just arrived. It will make its own hydrogen. I underestimate. I thought I'd brought a radioisotope generator along. We got no power. We have no power, and I have no way to make it in situ. So Hephaestus needs to leave to go retrieve. Okay, so I know what the existing Hephaestus is doing. One on Earth is doing. Hephaestus. In fact, we just build the second one. So, you need to. Where's Lutetia? Lutetia. You're going to Lutetia. I'll bring it long enough for 2 solar panels. Just in case because the solar is going to be pretty banged out in Lutetia. Because this is sort of an emergency flight, I'm willing to say have a lot of fuel. Oh, you're not even going to burn 300 doing the optimal burn. Go. Go. Adds an emergency flight. Because I'm like, I need to fix the power situation so we can have Lutetia do Lutetia things. They got 28 years before they're going to starve to death, but we don't want to wait that long. We don't want to wait that long. Build the outpost in the meantime. Yeah, and then this Hephaestus, I want you, again, I think we're closer to the launch window, Lutetia to Earth, than we are to Mars. So that is October this year. Versus Mars. Being December of next year. Yeah, so it's Earth. We're going to Earth. Hephaestus. And I can have you add as much of the rare metals as you can bring. And you, so optimal flight, minimum hydrogen. That leaves in December, so that's a lot better than going to Mars. And yeah, I can give you more fuel to go faster. We don't need to do that. Off you go. In fact, we're burning. That's how heavily we're burning the fuel on that Hephaestus. It's just like, yeah, no, we're gonna get there before I think that one leaves. We're gonna get, yeah. Yeah, we get there before that one even leaves. Okay. Emergency flights, guys. Emergency flights. Did a little bit more forethought, we wouldn't be doing so many emergency flights. Okay. Paris has its research laboratory. Phobos has its launch, or has its vehicle assembly. Phobos also has metal, so Phobos can get even cheaper with a launch pad. And it can build itself its launch vehicle. Delay that, because I apparently need more metal. Pelican being constructed. And probably before the Pelican's constructed, we can start building the launch facility there. Spacecraft Earth arrived at Lutetia. So my emergency resupply has arrived. Quickly, build some solar panels. We're about to move to allies. That was electronics, not ally. That was my bad. Thought it was electronics and not ally. That was my bad. This was not the plan with all these Hephaestuses, but you're also going to Lutetia. Someone is going to, I can imagine in roleplaying, someone's going to be like, who screwed up these deliveries? Pelican. Once again, I'm the fastest. Go the fastest. Oh, because it's we're spending much more this time. Spending much more this time. A little slower than that, please, then. I'm willing to give you like 300. Go the fastest you can go for 300. Fast enough. Gets it to regenerate. Oh, that one's doing a swoop around gravity turn off of the sun there. Okay. Probably not a proper gravity turn, but transitioning via the gravity well. Pelican done on Phobos. So we can now get carbon off of Phobos. Don't quite have enough for the launch pad. I might actually want to bring more metal to Phobos. Although I don't have... Well, actually, if I put the mobile hab over... I'm thinking about making more metal on Phobos. Mining more metal. Yeah, we'll slow boat him. It'll be fine as it is. Oh no, I'm also thinking about more carbon, right? Carbon... I want the carbon coming faster. So yeah, I might want to bring more people to Phobos. I'll leave that to next time. I'll think about that over the break. During the stream break. So Lutetia. Hell has arrived. This time, build the solar panels, please. Got 4 ongoing missions. None of these are particularly time sensitive, but I want to see if there's enough power to get way not enough power. Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably bring a radioisotope generator. I'm gonna have to relent and bring a radioisotope generator. Although that is enough power to feed them. Yeah, that is what that is. I can work with that. Feeds them. It's producing hydrogen. How much do... Because what I got... What do I have on the way back? I've got... Okay, I need another... Oh no, it's... I was thinking... For some reason I was thinking it was 3k. It's 2k. So we've actually got what I need. Rare earth alloy. Rare earth materials going to Earth. So yeah, let's... We're still gonna grab one of these Hephaestus. This one's gonna go to Jupiter. For a couple of different reasons. One, I think Jupiter has, or not Jupiter, is going to go to Mars. One of those is I think Mars still has a radioisotope generator I can borrow. Or did I finally go through all my radioisotope generators? Yeah, it still has a radioisotope generator I can borrow. I can borrow one of Mars's radioisotope generators. In the meantime, I need to get some more solar because we'll need more solar. Okay. So Lutetia to Mars. Actually, back up. Lutetia to Mars orbit, because I want the rares that we're bringing in Mars orbit and resources and rare metals. Optimal transfer. So Lutetia has plenty. Okay, so we're on optimal at this point. 2055, December 22nd. Okay. With 100 fuel, we're on optimal. Yeah, or I don't have enough fuel. That's kind of what's going on there. That's what that's saying. Not really... I'm trying to remember, how does the shop plot read? Is that arrival, and then that's set out date? Yeah, that's arrival. Okay, so now it's telling me I can get there faster if I spend more of the hydrogen, which I want to do because I want to get the radioisotope generator and get back. So let's. Although what? That was the difference between. October of 2057 and oh no, that's the fastest trip. That's optimal arrival. Yeah, okay. We're doing this. We're doing the minimum fuel. That'll work. Apparently not getting there any sooner, so. Yeah, so Lutetia is working. They're not gonna starve. They're making hydrogen, so there's always gonna be fuel when we get here. And I'm not actually sure I want the rest of these rares at the moment. I've got the 2k we need for the asteroid supply chain going to Earth. I've got 1.5k going to Mars, which we do want some at Mars, because that's what I need for Phobos and Deimos. And at this point, Mars is making people. We've shrunk it back down below 1k, but it's growing. so it's probably going to go back over okay in some amount of time. But yeah, do we want any more of these missions to complete before we bring the stream to a close? We got stuff going to Earth. Earth, that's you descending from Paris to Lutetia, which at this point is actually less smart because we obviously don't have the hydrogen there for you to leave. Might actually, we'll see. I'll think about what I'm going to do with that one. Yeah, so I think we're at a good place to put a part break in here. I have another Hephaestus at Earth. I got a Prometheus at Earth. Although I probably want to keep the Prometheus at Earth, because that's probably going to be the one that does the run back and forth between Earth and Mars. In fact, that might be what that one's supposed to be going through. Is that one supposed to be taking stuff to... Yes. Before I forget, let me get my stuff delivered at the moon so I can have what I need for the Pelican production there. So, 320 metal for the Pelican, 200 alloy for the vehicle assembly, 40 or 90 rare because both of them require rares, and the fissiles. Okay. Needs no launch vehicles near orbit. Barely needs any hydrogen. 7 days out, so it'll be quick. Flight over to the moon. And then the moon, and this is when we queue up, can build vehicle assembly. Can I queue up the... Nah, I have to wait until the vehicle assembly's done. I'll have to remember that to build the Pelican there. But then once you have the Pelican there, we can get the hydrogen off of the moon. Yeah, once I have the Pelican there, I can get the hydrogen off of the moon. Isn't that supposed to be 32? Somehow I get like partial... I might have to bring more fissiles over at some point. It's apparently 31.8, and the Pelican's 32, so I might have to bring more fissiles over. That's a little annoying if that's true. I think that might be true. It's easy enough to go just grab more fissiles from Earth, I suppose. That wouldn't be too bad. So I'm not going to worry about it for the moment. But yeah, we can basically come in here and we can take... Once we have the Pelican, we can take things off of it. So like this glass, that can be shipped out. We can ship the fuel back to Earth and sell that. But yeah, we'll actually be able to launch stuff from off of Earth. And we'll start trying to move things to Earth to the moon for refining. So instead of just dragging stuff back to Earth, we ideally probably want to drag them to the moon because we get paid for colonists not on Earth. So the more colonists I can have doing things anywhere else, the better. But yeah, this is where we're gonna bring it to a close for this stream and this night. So if you're watching on YouTube, well, regardless of where you're watching, we're working on the asteroid supply chain, so this is coming in. I suppose one thing I can be probably doing early next stream is we have a Hephaestus here. That's probably a good polar for sending people out to Saturn. So instead of going for another Trojan or a Greek, we can instead go for a Saturnite Is there water carbon out here? Minmus, Hyperion, Titan itself. We'll probably have a group going out to Titan next time. Water and carbon. Water and carbon. Research gets us a quest done, so another 5.5 million in revenue to delay the specter that is the inevitable heat death of our treasury. We have a mission to deliver 5 people to Callisto. Probably means we want to be colonizing Callisto. But if we're doing Callisto, probably before I do Callisto, it's probably bring more people to Ganymede no, probably more to Ganymede. We set up hydrogen production and a launch facility on Ganymede. That way I can move food from Ganymede to Callisto. It's implying that you should go to Callisto because Callisto has metal. But I need water and carbon to feed my people. We got fuel-efficient hydrogen ships, but we'll start working on these quests. The only one we're probably not going to work on is the Mars one. Sort of the grand self-imposed quest is I would like... Well, the radioactive isotope, we're finding it someplace, but we want to get to orbital gas extractor so we can start extracting gas from the gas giants so that we can run the big ships from abundant sources of hydrogen. Very abundant sources of hydrogen. And it frees up or generates some other resources as well. Some other useful resources like water. So there's hydrogen in Saturn, so hydrogen, helium, nitrogen. Nitrogen's going to be very useful for terraforming. Jupiter has water. Uranus, more water. Neptune, more water. Water, noble gases, nitrogen, hydrogen. Not sure if is there any oxygen on these guys? Doesn't appear to be very much oxygen. In which case, if there's not really any oxygen, what's going to end up happening is we're going to be taking water. We're going to be splitting water for hydrogen and oxygen. And hydrogen runs the ships. Oxygen terraforms the planets. So we might start doing some of the terraforming out of order, where we start dropping nitrogen and oxygen even before we get to the radioisotope, or the radiation fixing. I think I might be technically prevented. Oh no, I don't think I'm prevented from gas releasing. Carbon release isn't required for us to do it. These are just hydrogen power plant, CO2 power plant, the carbon power plant. Right? So if I want to release CO2 gas or that sort of stuff. This one's actually going to be more interesting, which is turning yeah, this is power goes in, consumes CO2 gas, sticks out carbon. Because we're going to need more carbon. They're going to want more carbon to feed people. But yeah, I think we're off to a good start. We got the 1,000 people on Mars before 2050. We don't have 1,000 people there anymore because we shipped them out to Phobos and Deimos. But the Martian system is still over 1,000. And the Martian system is growing because we have housing space, surplus housing space on Mars. So Mars is growing. In fact, I should probably put another outpost on Mars so we can grow a little bit more, so it's not restricted in growth. But yeah, and then one of the things we're going to try to work towards is being self-sufficient so that I'm not reliant on following the contracts. So let's get people to space. More and more and more people living in more and more places. And for that, we're going to want to have more hydrogen fuel. So that's why we're going for less in-orbit production. Although, once we have that, if we can bring enough hydrogen in to run the Pelican, we're going to start shipping people probably to Earth orbit. We're gonna put a city station up there, and we're gonna feed people in Earth orbit, so that when I do transits out to other places, we can play. Yeah, we're gonna get to orbital gas extraction. I'm assuming we probably want fissile mines. That's maybe less of a priority now that I've taken the nuclear power plant offline and disassembled it. So actually, because I've taken that offline, I'm gonna take those off the list. Orbital gas extraction. We're definitely doing orbital gas extraction. there's definitely some argument for coming into the fancy mines. Another one to do is more stuff in biotech, because we can get the hydroponic farms to be more efficient. So many things to do. We can reduce crew costs. There's also just coming up into computation. Much like we're sticking out a bunch of labs, I can go in and just be like, make the research faster, reduce the maintenance costs of the labs. Faster research, faster research, faster research, faster research. The sooner we do these, the sooner these pay themselves back. And they're required for other things. So this is also required for robotics. We're going to have to do that at some point for robotics. You don't have any... you're not progressive or anything, but cybernetics. Basic AI, expert systems... So at some point, we'll probably at least do the run out to here. Whether or not we do these two is maybe up for question. But yeah, we're making progress. We've done Mars. We're next stream. I think we will be harvesting the gas giants for all the hydrogen we can get. They got billions of tons of hydrogen, and the fleet wants the hydrogen. I suppose one thing I might do after we get the hydrogen production is, instead of going for, well, probably either be research tech, or it'll be more fission. There is also the argument to do the Kronos, single-staged orbit spacecraft. So this is the Stratos of the fission line. This is I want to go somewhere. I want to be able to land on the planet. I want to be able to lift off the planet. I want to do it all with fission. Not as big as the Hephaestus, it's not as fuel efficient as the Arraign, but it can land on planets. So getting a Kronos for places where we don't have the Pelican, or don't want the Pelican, might want to move to that. And in fact, at that point, we might start contemplating replacing the Promethei with Kronos. Because the Promethei is basically going to be the Promethei probably still get left in use because they're going to be in system in places where I got Pelicans. But places where we don't have Pelicans that are going to do sort of Promethei style stuff, we'll probably use Kronos, because we can land and take off of places. But yeah, I hope you have been enjoying. This is where we're going to go ahead and put the part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up probably tomorrow, although it will be done during the next stream. If you're watching on Twitch, sorry about a little bit of, well, regardless of whether you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube, sorry about a little bit of a hectic stream here. Apparently I had grand plans for things, and weren't able to sort of carry them out because they're in many ways too grand for the planning. We're going to have to be a little bit cautious with our launch scheduling with the Pelican, because we have launch capacity, but I don't have the launch fuel. So we can't do full launch speeds, especially on Earth. It's not going to make sense to do enough electrolysis, I think. But that's why we need that gas extractor, so we can scoop it off the gas giants. But yeah, so today was Solar Expanse. We have got beyond Mars. We're in Jupiter. Next time we're going to Saturn. Next time we're going to start drinking the gas giants. Tomorrow is going to be Songs of Six. We're going to see if tomorrow's stream of Songs of Six is the last stream of Songs of Six. If we're making good progress, we broke 8K last time. If we break 10K, we'll do one more stream and get to 12K. If we're not making progress, we just get stagnant and get stuck. It'll be time to bring the stream to a close, or bring the run to a close at the end of that stream. Monday is Factorio Pteranodons. Tuesday is going to be Solar Nations. I think Tuesday is probably going to be the end of Solar Nations. I think we're past halfway to victory. it might be a little complicated trying to get it the rest of the way to victory, because I can't just deploy an army and boost the prestige. We did that. We've got to build up the economy enough that we can deploy more army, basically. And then Wednesday, we're going to be back on Solar Expanse here. And we're going to Saturn. We're going to start drinking Jupiter. We're not far enough off in the tech tree that we're not going to reach that. We're going to reach that. We're totally going to reach that. And yeah, that's what we're going to start doing. So yeah, until next time, if you're watching on Twitch, this is the last opportunity to get comments responded to. If you're watching later on the Twitch VOD or on YouTube, feel free to leave comments over on YouTube. So if you're watching Twitch VOD, move over to YouTube. I am streaming this live to Twitch under the username WillCall and uploading the local recording to YouTube under the username WillCall100. Just a reminder, I did this at the beginning of the stream, but that was 4 hours ago. The background music here is from Stellaris, not from the game. For whatever reason, the game's music gets flags on YouTube. I am playing by house rule, which is Fission all the way, which meant that I was limited to only 1 Eagle, 1 Stratos, and 1 Hermes. And beyond that, everything needs to be Fission. At least until we fully maxed out Fission. We might very far down the line start allowing ourselves to do solar sails and fusion ships. To technically win the game, we need to build 1 fusion ship to actually leave the solar system. That's a long way away. And it doesn't make much sense right now to jump to fusion. I suppose I can take a look. Nike is going to be the first fusion ship. It's got a 1,000 KPS, so it's probably better than the Rain. Yeah, it's 10 times more fuel efficient than the Rain. So that would be the argument there. The very first fusion ship is 10 times better than the last fission ship. And I think this is showing the KPS of my fully upgraded fission ship, so 10 times more fuel efficient. So this isn't showing the upgraded KPS, and it might not. I think it is. If it isn't, then it's still 2 times or so better. So there is better ships. I can get into fusion stuff. But gotta go to Cargo Bay 4 apparently to Nike. So we're a long way off from fusion. And we need to go down fusion to get an interstellar vehicle assembly. So eventually we're gonna go down fusion, even if I don't use the fusion ships, right? I don't think we need them anytime soon. They are very fuel efficient though. But yeah, so with that, before I go rambling on into other things, let me do the outro. Let you guys all go. I hope you have been enjoying. Until next time, I'm gonna wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Get you all in the next part to end our stream, and bye for now.